On the one hand, I would very much like to create a communicative music that is engaging towards people and that somehow has some use for people. On the other hand, I can't imagine or play the game of imagining what my listeners may think, especially with so many, especially with a global world where so many people can so easily access my music on SoundCloud or YouTube or whatever. I can't predict what their listening experiences can be or could be, or their listening culture could be. And so I don't want to project too much on kind of leading the listener in this way, but nonetheless, I would like to be communicative. So usually when I think about these things, I try to think of what are gestures or ways of communicating beyond maybe perhaps culturally loaded ones. Are there kind of psychoacoustic things that all humans might experience that I could use as a tool for communicating that's not a sonata form or something where, you know, that's super loaded and you would immediately limit yourself to the reach. It's one, thinking I want to be communicative. On the other hand, I don't want to project how they're going to hear. So musical techniques, I don't know. It's like, it's not that easy to just say, oh, well, if I employ this musical technique, then it will be received in this way. Perhaps I'm writing in the way that I hear, in the way that I listen and I experience the world, and I employ musical techniques that I find communicative for me and hope that others, human beings on this earth, will too. I guess playing this game of trying to predict what people will think or feel when they hear my music is a dangerous one, and a kind of, not necessarily dangerous, but it's kind of a dead end. It's a dead end to be so kind of, if I do this, then this feeling. Yeah. So I can though listen and go, I feel this way when I do this, so that's what I will do. Yeah. Any sort of art has the power to change the way people think about the world, the way people interact with each other. It can open doors and ways of thinking that are beyond what we have here already. I mean, there's no question art, music generally can change the world, especially how we think. We're not talking about breaking down a wall. Music won't break down a wall, but it may change the way people think about the wall. I guess I don't really. I don't think in this way of like thinking, oh, you'll hear this piece and then you'll want to rise to social action. It's really my meditation on these things more so than it is get out on the street and protest. If I wanted to get people to protest, I would write different music. I'd write more kind of directly rhythmic, strophic to get people out on the street. And I would love to do that. So this piece is more about my meditation on these things rather than, I think it's a dead end to think, how can I write music to change the world? And it's more, how can I write music that expresses what I'm feeling and thinking, and maybe that will change the world because it may open doors for other people, but it may not. But this is, I don't think Da Vinci or whoever sat down and said, how do I change the world with this thing? Yeah. A disaster. I guess suffering is a disaster. Any sort of large-scale suffering. And I don't just mean human suffering, but all suffering. Seems entirely avoidable in our world. And I think there's far too much of it. I hope for less suffering.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you.